allow a moment, Bishop. Let's hear from Ogbeni. So, Ogbeni, the PDP and the Labour Party, so they've closed their case today. So they've presented all their submissions, and now it is the turn of INEC and APC to counter what those two characters have presented. But we've been trying to grapple with it to see where the silver bullet is. So can you talk us through then what today means and how much longer we're in this process so that we can talk about other things? So Ogbeni, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you everyone. One man, sorry, you sent me a message. I couldn't reply. I was extremely busy. I'm so sorry. But
No,
I've been
I was just checking on you to see.
yeah, no. I try to catch up with the program. So once in a while, I just try to check the backlog and then so Kulata and everybody, Ola and everybody, Bishop and Co. I greet everyone. I think Patoski is there. I don't know. I greet you all. So now there's this channel where I follow up minute by minute what is happening in the tribunal, apart from the fact that I have people on ground. But if you can tune into this channel, if you have time, they call it Obidati TV. Although if you are not
yes, I know them. They are quite, they do it like a proper news reporter sort of a thing. Yes.
Yeah. Except that you could you could if you are not obedient and you are not a lawyer, you could be carried away with their analysis, which all the guys doing analysis there, none of them is a lawyer. They call one political analyst from UK. I wonder where he's doing his own political analysis from UK. And then there's another guy like that. They said that one work in Amazon. I don't know. So, but now, if you see the case they've been able to establish, I don't see anything there, but I will tell you where the defense is going. I can't tell you where that case is going. Maybe their final address will show that, but I don't see anywhere where they're going. Why am I saying so? One, they're emphasizing on PDP side. They're emphasizing on this discrepancy in certificate. On Adekunle, Tinubu, they are bringing all those things. Secondly, that's one. Secondly, they're emphasizing on the issue of citizenship or not. Thirdly, they're emphasizing the issue of drug and all these issues. And when you round up all these issues, what have they tendered? Because see, the court deals with evidence, either real evidence, documentary evidence, or horror evidence. You must bring one. Now, their case so far is hinged on expert witness generally, or people they call expert witness. You see, in law, when you say somebody an expert, the moment you bring somebody and you call the person expert witness, the hurdle you're going to cross is you step it, your standard, you step it a bit above another witness, a regular witness you are bringing to court. But unfortunately, if you look at all their expert witness, let me start from. I know that you guys have dealt with it, but I've not been around, so I can just rush through. They brought a man called, was he Professor Kanu? He said he's a mathematician and an expert. At a point in time, when Welola Ipekun took him up, at a point in time, he said something. They asked him, does IREF collate? And he said no. You see, when he got to that point, I said, they finished this man. But, the obedient kept saying, this is a very good expert. What's expert in this? Because the man was able to establish, they were able to establish true. And then let me tell you, there's a principle in law. If I establish through my cross-examination, ordinarily, cross-examination should dent my own defense. I'm cross-examining the witness brought by my own adversary. So whatever I'm eliciting, whatever evidence I'm eliciting from my adversary, if it is against my adversary case, is weightier in law because it's the witness you are bringing. Mr. A is bringing witness. And by the time Mr. B is asking that Mr. Wu A, and Mr. Wu A is adducing evidence that weightier against the case of who is bringing you, it's a very weighty evidence in law. So what have they been able to achieve through this Professor Kanu? They've been able to achieve that, one, IREF doesn't collate and I've been saying it, the only thing IRF does, you see, IRF is like reciprocatory. What do you call it now? Yeah, reciprocatory of what transpired. We keep it somewhere for public to see. IRF is not results. You cannot base your expert analysis on what you find in IRF and you think the court should rely on it, then to upturn election results. They were able to establish that through that man, because the man said what is contained in IRF is used. They snap it and they send it there. Now, one other people asking me a question. He said, does that mean that if were you able to see the original for me CAA in order to arrive at this your expiry report? I said no. Okay. Does it mean that because it is blur on IRF, does it mean that it will also be blur on the original document? I said no. Okay. Now asking me again, I said, okay, does it mean that if we are able to get the for me CAAs now, it will change this your report? I don't know if anybody listened to that part. And he said, yes, that finished that expert. I don't know where exactly they still want from that expert witness. And I don't know why the obedient. This is common sense. It's not even law this time around. For me, it's common sense. It means that nobody can rely on whatever you are bringing, because all the calculation and everything you come to do is based on what you find from IRF, which is just a reciprocatory of data, whatever they put there. That's what you have there, and that is not the real result. That is one for that one. Now they brought another witness. What does that one do? The Amazon guy. The Amazon guy has come to court to establish that the server had no glitches, right? But eventually, see what they were able to establish through that Amazon. One, they were able to establish that he's not an expert. Two, okay, how did they establish that he's not an expert? One, he's not. He didn't come to court to speak for Amazon. He confessed that during fire of court examination.
Now, she.
Oh, it's she. Sorry.
It was she.
I didn't say as though it was the transcript. Now she didn't come to court from Amazon. That's to represent Amazon. She didn't know what is called non-disclosure, non-circumvention agreements. And let me explain that we all know that, so no need to even explain that. But let me just tie it to my understanding of where the case is heading to. Non-disclosure, non-circumvention agreement simply say whatever happened, you see, there is a agreement of confidentiality between your client, that's the INEC and Federal Government of Nigeria, and Amazon. Whatever happened to my infrastructure with you or my data with you, whatever happened to it, you don't come to public and talk about it. Court cannot even compel you to come and talk about it. It's strictly between the client and the provider, right? And that is why you won't even see Amazon coming to court. They will not. Because it's a simple contract with confidentiality. And that is how it's been. Now, this expert doesn't know what not conventional circumvention agreement is. They ask if she even have access to the agreement. She said no. Okay. They now ask her, okay, now you contested in this same election. And you say, okay, yes, you contested. See, that alone has tainted that witness as somebody who's partisan. Because there's no way you will contest under a particular party and you are come to testify for that party. In fact, you don't even need subpoena. It means they just wasted the time of court to get an order to subpoena you. Do you know when they said a witness is a subpoenaed witness, it means that a witness is not ready to come to court because your interest does not align with the interest of the person you're coming to testify for.
So Can we interject you, Ben?
Oh yeah, you can interject me.
Now you just said something now that it's not an expert. I was just laughing here that when you just said that. Well, that's
she's not.
Well, you can say that that's your opinion. But then
it's not about opinion.
Hold on now.
We know it's an expert witness.
Somebody hold on. She worked or works with Amazon.
She doesn't. No.
You ask her for
she does not work for Amazon.
She works, well, as far as I know, that's what she said in court, that she works for Amazon. They asked her for ID. She says they don't issue ID card for.
Rational man.
Hold on now, make a land now.
Yeah, but you are landing on the wrong footing because
so what is the footing? What is the
I have just few times. See, when they say an expert witness, it's not your expertise that make you an expert witness. That's what you don't understand. In law,
but you are making it sound like she's not an expert.
She's not an expert witness.
Let her when he pad out the missing gaps.
She's not an expert witness. See, you may be a medical doctor and you will come to court, yet you are not an expert witness. Once, see, what takes him immediately off from the line of an expert witness is that he contested in that election. He's a party person, he's partisan.
No, not in the election in which she's witnessing for.
It doesn't matter.
No, it matters. It matters. We need to delineate. We need to clear.
Wait, I'm telling you. See, it doesn't matter.
You're standing on the wrong. That's a wrong.
It's not which section of evidence are you talking about?
She's a candidate in the election, but not in that category of election that she's there to witness for.
Oga, wait.
So
which section of evidence?
I know what Olanipekun was.
But she's biased now, rational mind.
You can say she's biased. No.
So she's no longer an expert strictly in law because an expert must be independent.
No. Based on what you just said, she's not a party in this election that she's testifying in court for.
You don't understand.
Rational mind now. You should be watching law shows and movies now.
Rational mind. I know when he's doing his in a Scottish university, but where are you doing your PhD in law? Where are you doing your PhD in law?
No. One minute. Even though you see, sometimes law is common. I mean, not common sense. Sometimes we understand law. I did international law 101. I did that when I was doing.
You took a module. You took a module in law, and that makes you look at this guy.
But at least I have some basic principles of law, how it works. You can't come here and tell us because she's a member. I mean, she took part in this election, in the category of election where she's she's standing as a witness or an expert witness. She works. Hold on. No, somebody was saying that she doesn't work. No, she works for Amazon. No. Now the point is this: you said she was subpoenaed because she's an employee of Amazon. She needs to have some.
No. Hold on, rational mind. Just for the benefit of Ogbeni quickly being able to land. What Ogbeni is saying is that I've even forgotten what it is. Sorry, carry on.
Our next
I lost that thought. Yeah, carry on.
So let me land. So she's getting a subpoena to cover her backside because if our employer is to retaliate against her, she can say, "Look, I was forced by the court to come." Like you said, that thing you talked about, that agreement thing, that non-disclosure. Amazon must have signed with INEC.
Yes.
Subsist, and I agree with you that yes, she cannot testify based on that as an Amazon person. She's coming on her own as an independent, but because that's her area of expertise, because she's an IT or IT cloud or whatever she is, she can tell you how that thing works. So she's coming in on that ground, not as a representative of Amazon, because she cannot say anything for Amazon. But she is subpoenaed. She can use that to show to her employer that, look, I was subpoenaed. I cannot treat the court's subpoena with contempt if I don't if I don't obey it. So that's how she's covered in that area. So that you are not saying that because she's subpoenaed and other no, dude, listen. You cannot be coming here and be telling us all of this. I know you're a lawyer. You have your PhD. I understand. I respect you for that. But I want to tack you on that. And that is why I think the stand for Labour Party, who are more, I think they are more. These are not just stands. One of them won an election. I better know. I hope they better know what they are doing. If they have to bring this lady, and they say she's one of their expert witness because she.
There is no impression that the OB lawyer team that they do know what they are doing.
They do. You might not see because of
no. There was an instance where they were
meant mathematician, right?
No, not even the mathematician. They were meant to file some documents. They did not file it, and then they still wanted to use it. And then the court was telling them that how can you use documents that you've not filed? Just
one man. Everybody, there's room. Even the INEC and they all do their own mistakes today, because there's
For
so much.
a team of sons.
There's a huge number of documents they have to provide. I mean, you cannot keep track of all of these things. Sometimes I know they fumble. I've seen where they fumble, and some of these obedient platforms, they talk about their fumbling too in court. Don't get it wrong. So my point is this: that everybody fumbles in court, but that does not mean that they don't know what they are doing. It's an overwhelming avalanche of evidence that they have to provide. So keeping track of all of this, I don't think.
All right, let talk about.
Okay.
Let me quickly
continue with this thought.
Okay, so now what rational mind doesn't understand is this: law is not common sense. If law is common sense, I won't go and study law, and there won't be any difference between me and you. The intricacies of the law, the technicality part, is what strikes the difference between me and you. You can read the book of law and think you understand it, but the intricacies is what stands me out as a lawyer that you don't understand. When you bring an expert in court, apart from your certificate and experience, what makes you an expert is your independence of thought and opinion. Now, the defense has been able to establish that this lady is not independent. And how do you establish that? You establish a relationship between that person you are bringing and the person she's coming to testify for. It is only natural for you to come and for your opinion to be tainted. That's the rationale behind that principle that you must be independent, because it is only rational for natural for somebody who is a card-carrying member of Labour Party. You are coming to testify for Labour Party. How can you be independent?
I understand that technicality.
Hold on. Let him carry on, rational mind.
So
carry on.
That is simple thing they have established. In fact, I expected them at that point to just take their seat. You don't need anything further again. The witness is tainted because you are a member of a party you are coming to represent. There is no way you can be independent and that's why, for instance, in medical field, they don't advise you to treat your own parent or your own son or daughter or child in a critical movement, because they know you will be biased. Things that you ordinarily would take risks, you won't take risks with them, and you won't be in your right mind, okay, to treat. That's in a critical moment, to treat your own relative. In medical, they will tell you, let another doctor that you trust take charge. And the same thing with law. You are bringing an expert witness, and that expert witness is a member of your political party. He's not an expert witness as far as the eyes of law is concerned. You can ask from anybody. See, all those senior advocates will collect their money and go. It's not today. They've been handing cases. They will win some, they will lose some. So when you see senior advocate using boldface, don't think that boldface will translate automatically to expertise or to the fact that
this is technicalities you're doing here. I mean, you are going on technicalities.
Law is technicality. You think law is the technical part of law is law.
I understand the technicalities in what you're talking about, tainted and all of that. Yes, I agree with you. But the point is, he's appearing there because I know that's what Olanipekun or whoever was doing that cross-examination.
They've achieved that.
Oh, no, I know that. Well, you can say I won't say they achieved that. Well, we shall see how the judges.
Let me jump to the next.
In their final judgment, we shall see what comes out. But the point is that it appears to you, it might appear that they were able to succeed in discrediting her as not an expert witness from what you just said. Because
I know, Neo.
Remember, but the point is, she was trying to, because when she was during the cross examination, she kept insisting that I'm only here. I'm not acting based on because of maybe being a member of.
Okay, rational mind. Let me say it in language of you and I. Maybe the legal of Ogbeni.
Hold on. I understand what Ogbeni is saying now.
If you understood, then you probably would not disagree.
Even though I'm just a lay person, in law by law.
Okay, so what he's saying is that if this lady, for an expert witness, you have to be independent and detached from the subject matter. Even though you are an expert witness, you have a PhD in XYZ, and that PhD is not in question. But if you have been an expert with a partisan view, that expertise is already compromised because you lean that expertise towards your partisanship. So you are no longer an expert. You're an active participant in the thing. Is that a rough summary of it, Ogbeni?
Well, man, and I admit to that fact that I understand that aspect that he brought up, and which is what the APC and your likes of all of that they try to succeed in doing. Well, should I say succeed? Well, it's kind of they were able to bring that to the fore during the cross-examination, just to discredit that this lady were trying to.
Let Ogbeni continue. To break flow, then he will lose his fluidity. So let him have that fluidity.
Okay, all right.
And then at the end of his submission, come back at him. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. See, they established that not even through that Amazon girl alone. They established that through NITDA. In fact, we'll get to that NITDA. In fact, that NITDA is the most fantastic way. They've established their case through that NITDA subpoena witness. But I will go to that, their second witness. Now, see the second thing they've been able to establish through all these witnesses. None of those witnesses from all their expert reports, none of them visited what we call primary source. See, there is no court will rely on the expert witness with an expert that confessed in court that I did not analyze the primary source. We are researchers now. We have some researchers here, at least. Kulata and some researchers are here. They understand what primary source is. You must visit the primary source. And what is the primary source here? It's not IREF. It's not IREF. The primary source is IEC8A. So if you don't have access, you don't, yes, I know. They said, what, let me tell you what Labour is trying to prove. Labour is trying to prove what we call withholding evidence in law. What is withholding evidence? It means that if I'm asking you to bring a particular thing for me, you refuse to release it. There's a presumption in law that says that the content of that thing must really be against you. And that's why you don't release it to me. So if I fail now to debunk that presumption, it will be in favor of the man that I fail to release that thing to. I don't know if I'm understood. So what Labour is trying to bring out is that I asked you to release all these Beavers report to me. You did not release it to me. You frustrated me. Now you left me with the only option to go to IREF to go and download. And what I got there, a lot of them are blurred. I can't read them. Some you did not upload them here. So therefore, I cannot get the best analysis I can do is what I have with me. Therefore, there should be presumption that those things you refuse to give to me was actually against you. But then don't forget that presumption will only be against INEC. It will be against Tinubu and the APC, right? Because Tinubu, Shettima, and APC are not with these documents. The documents are with INEC, right? So that presumption will not be against them, to be against INEC. 1, 2. See, you that is asking for that thing from INEC, you have what we call pink copy with you. See, that pink copy alone will debunk the withholding evidence they are trying to bring in. And that's why I said it will be very interesting to see their final address and see how the judgment will be like. But I can tell you for now that the Tinubu's guys and others have been able to establish their case at least 65%. Because as it stands, today they established through their witness that they have agents in all the polling units and they say yes. Do you know what that established? That's established the fact that all your 330-something thousand agents have their pink copies. And you are not tendering those copies. You are insisting on INEC's copy. Because the burden is on the petitioner to prove that he won. And if you have your own pink copies with you that they tore and gave you to go home with, which you say they've manipulated, bring it to the court. If you don't tender it, you can't hold withholding evidence on another person that have the same thing that you have with you. That pink copy is also original on its own. You can tender it. The only thing that the law says is that if you tender the pink copy and INEC now tender CTC original and there is discrepancy, court will rely on INEC own. But here, you are not even tendering your own. So that withholding evidence will not work because you have original with you and you face to tender it. Let me tell you another thing I've seen in their witness statement so far. Apart from the fact that they did not visit the primary source, is the judgment they tender today. You see that judgment they were able to tender, although Labour said they will object to it in the final day, but I know court about. In that judgment, you know, they asked the guy to read the final, what that judgment said. That judgment said that because they went to court to compel INEC to do all this IRF thing and co. And the court said, no, you can't compare INEC. It's the statutory duty of INEC to determine how to transmit their results. You see, that judgment alone is binding on that court and binding on whichever court, because they asked that guy again, did Labour appeal against this decision? And he said he's not aware. Let me tell you, Labour didn't appeal against that decision. And because of that, there's an EU stopper already against them, because you do not appeal. It's a finding of the court that INEC can decide. So that is another thing. Let me now tell you another very interesting thing I've seen in this thing. Another thing I've seen is this. They all agreed that IRF does not collate. You know what IRF simply does, from what they've been able to establish now? IRF, you only snap the form CA8 and send it to Ireland. It doesn't do anything further than that. I think they asked one of the witnesses, I can't remember the exact witness. They asked the witness, can IRF, when you snap to IRF, can IRF now tabulate and collate? And everybody will be seen as the result is going, everybody will be seeing how is summing it together and tabulating and tell you what this thing. The expert said no. So it means that IRF doesn't collate. So where does IRF thing stop? It is after you have even collated and you have declared the result and the winner. It now steps in as repository where you keep it. So, and you can't use, because you can't find something where they are keeping it and you have original with you, you refuse to bring it to court, you can't use things that you don't find in where it's meant for the public against results. And you now say the results should be nullified. Now, finally, on the person they brought on NITDA, you see, when they said, oh, they brought somebody, I say, why will Labour do this? You are just coming to kill yourself, because NITDA, first and foremost, will be a friendly witness to your defendant. What they will simply do is this. They will use that witness to establish their case. And that's what they did today. They just asked the person, okay, you are from NITDA, okay, this thing work, this thing don't work, it had glitches, this thing, and he answered. And they allow him to just go in like that. Let's watch out for when the Tinubu guys and others will open their defense. But let me tell you, for now, I'm okay with where they have taken it so far. There is a man I want you to watch out for. The man is called Abiodun Onikoko. Whenever you see that man leading a witness or cross-examination a witness, very dangerous lawyer. Watch out for him. Thank you, one man, for giving me the opportunity.
All right, but before you leave,
yeah,
I think Rational Mind has been just barely containing himself. So how about
You see, one man, there's something he said. I can't just remember. I can't pick every one of them right. That was I was trying to interject as he says those things. Well, I'll try my best to just recall some of the things he said. You see, on the expert witness, I think Oga was saying that in his comment section. In the US here, I know even in some court of law, I've seen where sometimes, but then, like he said, before somebody is said to be an expert witness, you must be certified to be an expert witness. And like Oga said, yeah, I think it's more advanced here in America here than in Nigeria. But you have to prove it that yes, it's not an expert witness. But the way and manner in which APC and their minions, all of them, the Olani Pekwan and all of them, INEC, were all doing. They were just going on technicalities of trying to discredit this person. No, that should not. You need to prove that yes, this person, he has no knowledge in that field, that he's not an expert. Not going off tangents, kind of like, oh, after all, you do this too, you do that too. No, prove it that he does not have the knowledge in that thing he wants to testify on. That's the point. But no, they were just going on, oh, you contested in that election. So how are you not tainted? How are you not biased in your... No, you have to prove that to the court. That was why I'm so grateful that the court allowed it, because if they felt that, well, yeah, you guys have a point, yeah, get off the witness puppet. We don't need to hear from you because already you are tainted. No, they allowed it. But I'm not saying that because they allowed it means that, oh, yeah, it's going to stand, it's going to influence a favorite work. Maybe we shall see how that pans out. But my point is that in this tribunal, well, I don't know, maybe it's their own strategy for the APC and the INEC, all of them. All I've seen, all the time, all the while that APC, Labour Party, or maybe PDP too, they bring in all they all just say objection, my lord, objection, my lord. And what is the objection? We shall give our final statement. I mean, what the crap are these people talking about? Like, I see, which make me on one side, I'm looking at this whole thing as a kangaroo kind of petition, tribunal. Maybe already they know where this whole thing is going to swing at the end of the day. Maybe this guy's already bought his way into these people's, this judge. We shall see how that plays out. But my point is that they've not really, maybe it's a strategy, like I said. Maybe they have their own joker.
Rational man, can you give me a second?
You're this joking line, but you might be joking line. So my point is this.
Mr. Ola, if I can reply him later, please, so that okay. I will
okay, so that expert, there are other things I want to counter earlier, but let's just talk about that expert thing. You need to discredit that person does not have the requisite knowledge or is not qualified, does not have, prove it. They did not. But rather they just say, oh, you contested in that election. Are you not tainted? How is your whatever you're going to say in this court today is not influenced by your leaning, by being a Labour Party person? No. Well, I don't know. It's up to the judges to decide that. But for me, and for any people that really look at things critically, we look at it from that point of view. Now, let me hear you.
Okay. Ogbeni, I better hold on so that you go answer this question. Now, I won't even address. Okay. Yes. So, rational mind, you have an issue about the defendant, right, objecting to most of those the evidence they are providing the plaintiff now, and then your question is, why are they actually not fleshing out their objection, or probably not leveraging on the objection they've actually raised, and they've been given that room for that objection. There's a reason for that, and that reason, Ogbeni will explain to you why they object and they defer to that during their defense. But
okay, can I talk now?
Yes, go ahead. I want you to explain that part.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So, rational mind, you see, that part is very simple, and that's why I always advise anybody around me, get a lawyer, to explain things so that we go out as an informed person. See, it's an issue of procedure, right? You see, in those days, when you see us handling election petition for 3 years, 2 years plus, almost 4 years, is because of all these things. Because, see, on one document alone, if I tell you objections I can raise on one document alone, 2 days, we may still be on argument on it, whether it should be tendered or not. And another day, the court will have to go and write its ruling and deliver it. And by the time you are tendering the next one, if you want to take my argument there and there, you think all those sounds, Wale Olanipekun doesn't know objection is going to make. They have avalanche of law reports, decisions on why each of those documents should not go in as an evidence. But see, this is the procedure these days in order to fast track things. Don't forget that same obedience. They should finish this thing before swearing. They should finish it before. So the court is also aware of the 180 days that they have. And that's why the procedure nowadays is this. You reserve your objection to the final address. So it's a procedure that is allowed in law. It's not a sign of cowardice at all. Me alone, where I was sitting and I was listening to all those things they said they are tendering, I have 1,100 points that if I be on my feet in the court, hours, I'll still be canvassing my argument. Why that document, just one of the documents must not enter. And I'll convince the court why it must not enter. Let me give you an instance. An unsigned document is a rubbish document in court. It shouldn't be admitted at all. The appointment letter that lady brought to court was an unsigned document. Do you know thousands of judgments in Nigerian courts that have said it? Don't bring an unsigned document and unauthored. That document was not authored by anybody. They just wrote a company name. You can't attribute it to a particular human being that signed it. And you say, oh, that's what they issue in Amazon. No, it's an unsigned document as far as the Nigerian law is concerned. And there are so many. There are some they don't bring original to court. They just brought the photocopy to court. Where is it coming from? Court is a very serious place. They go to do serious business. Court is not where you just go to go and do tiku to start. You do serious business in court, and there are rules. So, but these days, the procedure is this: you reserve your objection to the final address. So, what do they do in the final address? In the final address now, there will be a bundle of documents on its own, which is basically on objections. So, you pick those documents one by one, and you convince the court through your written address why the court should not admit it. So, in their judgment, they have every duty to expunge every document that are not admissible. And that's why you see them, they admit it temporarily. So, and if they admit it eventually at the Supreme Court, they will still strike out all those documents that are not meant to be admissible. For instance, let me give you an instance of one that may favor Labour that they did today. When they tendered that judgment, you remember Labour also said, I reserve my objection. You don't have any problem with that, right? Now, it's the same strategy because they all have rules they are playing with. And at the preliminary meeting, they've all agreed on objection to documents, nobody will canvass arguments so that we can fast track this thing. Let's reserve all our arguments to the final address so that we won't break the flow, everything will move smoothly. And I have one major point on that judgment. If you are bringing a judgment to come and counter, there are something in law we call foundation you have to lay. I observed today that was he Wale Ukala who brought it also didn't lay that foundation. So I expect them during their defense to still bring that same judgment back through their own witness and lay proper foundation to bring it in. Since the Labour Party guy has given them an hint as to why that thing will not be admitted. And eventually, they may push that particular decision be reported. So if you find it in any of these law reports, then they can now cite it in their written address. So by then, you don't need to adduce it as evidence again because it's in public record. You will now cite it. So since in the public record, the court is duty bound to have a judicial notice of that judgment. So the issue of whether they don't canvass argument on objection, what a crap, leave that. It's not a crap. It's law. What you know, you know. What you don't know, you don't know. That's the issue of law. Now, secondly, on the issue of what else do you raise? Sorry, I've forgotten the issue you raised.
This is expert witness.
Okay, on the expert witness. I've made my point on that expert witness, but let me expatiate more on it. See,
what I said was, hold on. What I said was, you have to attack that is the qualification of this person. Not just you have to prove that, oh my lord, this person that is wrong here, we cannot trust his judgment on this. Because I mean, for number one, where did you go to school? I mean, what's your qualification? You see, he doesn't have the qualification. But rather than you have to go off tangent, oh, he's a member of APC, Labour Party, he's this, he's obedient, he participated in the last election, which is not even a category of election we're talking about.
Rational mind.
For all these technicalities just to discredit this person and
rational mind
is just a stupid person.
Rational mind is very simple. First and foremost, what I want to disabuse your mind about, first and foremost, is that technicality is part of the law. Don't see it as crap. Technicality is part of the law, is what makes law, right? That is, understand that now today. If the law is so straightforward, whoever kills must be killed immediately. But it's the technicality that bring in different defenses. Intoxication, insanity, mistake, a lot of things you can bring in the heat of movement, a lot of defense. So if there are no technicalities that bring in all those defense, then whoever now killed by mistake, you are driving, you just hit somebody, you don't know the person died, then you must be killed? No. So don't think technicality is something very evil. No. It's the intricacies in law that they call technicality. Now, let me now tell you on the issue of expert witness. I've told you here today, there are 3 basic things that matters most in an expert witness you are bringing. And in any case, you bring an expert witness. What they try to do is, out of these 3 things, they try as much as possible to hit one. Once I'm able to hit one from hit, I've dented. It's just like the normal puzzle. For instance, like the game of football. All right, that's the way this thing also works. So once you are able to hit one of these three major points, then you've been able to hit whatever the expert is coming to. So it depends on strategy. And what are the three points? I've mentioned it today. Three things, three legs upon which an expert witness is standing. One is your independence. You must have independence of thought. Let me draw your attention to one of the witnesses they call as an expert. He came to court and they said, see how they tricked the guy. They said, when exactly did you read the petition before you prepare your expert witness? He first said something. They came back again and said, before the conclusion of your analysis, so did you read that petition? And now say read this petition. You see that alone as taking you off target already as an expert witness, because you are not even supposed to understand the case of the person who has brought you to court, because you are tainted. Your expert opinion must be independent of whatever case is coming out in court. But the moment you now go and read somebody's petition, and based on that petition, you are now bringing expert report to court, then your expert report is just work to an answer. Your expert report is just coming to support that petition. It shouldn't be. So when you see lawyers cross-examining, where they are going, you won't know. No, but in fact, if a lawyer is cross-examining and you know where he's going, that lawyer is a dullard. But when a lawyer finishes cross-examining and you are looking like, what has he? He has not achieved anything. Don't worry. When you get to the final, Wale could dig something, which I really love. You see, if you look at his last question and his first question, go and watch it very well. Although they finished their cross-examination, if you look at his first question and his last question, there's always this relationship between it, because he will ensure that his questions doesn't follow logically, so that you don't understand where he's going. That's another strategy in cross-examination. So cross-examination is not always straightforward. I want to adduce that you are not of this age. I won't go straight and be asking you your age. I may start by asking you the age of your children. You want to prove a point, I will ask you the day you married. Then I will take it back to the age of your wife. Already I'm proving your age. I don't need to prove anything again. The only question I just need to ask you now is that you are older than your wife, and you say yes, fine. I've shown to you that the age you brought to court is wrong. So don't forget, the first issue is independence, and that's what they are attacking. When you see them attacking, you are not from Amazon, you have not worked in Amazon, you don't know what you are doing. Like that Professor Kalu, they asked him a question. They said, anybody can calculate this thing that you have brought to court to calculate, and he said yes. I said, wow. So where is the expertise? What are you bringing to court?
Yeah, because you are hearing from the horse's mouth.
No, that's
an expert. If they were to bring an ordinary person like me, who is not even a mathematician, and try to tell you, listen. You see, I understand what you're doing, and I understand how you legal people, how you people try to discredit and try to make your point through some kind of how do I use this legalist language you people use?
Sakama J. Sakama J. They use Sakama J.
So we don't understand all of these things. I mean, we're not just born today. So, but my point is this: you see, there's certain things that should be common sense. But when you hear it from an expert, an expert even thinks in that line, and being an expert, that is his area, is a mathematician, is a statistician. He could just tell you that this is, and as opposed to me being an ordinary person that comes and testifies, that the 18,000 missing or missing something, they are just this is social number. But you're hearing directly from an expert, a mathematician, who has legal qualification to back it up from his professorship or whatever. I mean, that holds water. But that you trying to describe, make it look like it's nothing because anybody can do it. Like whoever cross-examining, trying to like discredit him, like, dude, what are you here for? I mean, you're not even. I mean, somebody can. I mean, do you agree that another person can do this calculation? He said yes. He can't lie about it. Yes, anybody can. But being an expert, now you're making it look like he's not an expert. You see,
rational mind. You didn't understand what I'm saying.
Okay, what did you say? Maybe I didn't understand.
This is my point, and I've made that point since I said expert witness always have a weight in court than witness of fact. All right, but if instead of bringing witness of fact, you are bringing an expert witness to come and tell the court that 2 + 2 is 4, which even the judge that is sitting there can calculate for you, that your evidence doesn't have weight. it's not because of your weight as an expert in court. It's because what makes you an expert witness is because what you are bringing to tell the court is not what just anyhow person can do. It is something that you can do because you have acquired special understanding and expertise to do it. And they ask that same you, this thing you have done, anybody can do it, and you say yes. It means that thing doesn't have any weight. We don't even need expert to come and do it. I don't know, maybe I'm not making sense. That is the issue. So you don't need expert witness. Then subpoena witness. Why do you bring subpoena witness? I've explained it also. The reason why you bring subpoena witness is this. That witness would ordinarily not come to court by every natural and reasonable reason. It will not. But I have to compel to come to court. So when you now compel a subpoena witness to come to court, it gives this level of independence. It means the person doesn't have anything to read. You just brought him to court because as a matter of respect for court. But when the person now gets to court and I start establishing relationship, it means that subpoena alone is just a kamaje. The person ordinarily would have followed you because you belong to the same political party, because you belong to the same political name.
It's the same game now. I mean, everybody's playing game just to cover their backside.
Rational, can I come in very quickly, Ogbeni?
Okay, Baba.
Good, thank you very much. Good evening once again. I don't know if Rational Mind saw the movie, My Cousin Vinny. I don't know if anybody, my cousin Vinny, Vinny. I
can't remember ever seen that.
Okay. Is there anybody that saw it on this platform, on the panelist tonight? Okay. When we talk of expert, subject matter expert, honestly speaking, Obeni,
are you breaking up or is it me?
I'm not breaking up. It's you.
We can hear him. We can hear him. Go on.
It's you that you are breaking up.
It's me.
I'm very much yes.
All right.
Now it's a subject matter expert or how do you call it? It's not just coming to give us what anybody can give. And the hallmark, the beauty of any lawyer is to debunk and to destroy the evidence of the subject matter expert. So if you cannot punch the evidence, you destroy the subject matter, the expert himself. Don't let me say destroy, you discredit. And you can either discredit him to prove that he is biased, or that he does not have a sound grip of what he is doing. Now, whether you want to use technicalities or technicalities, whichever means you want to use to achieve it, Rational Mind is saying that it's not morally right if they use technicalities to destroy a subject matter expert that is coming. I mean, to destroy their own case. I don't think it's a matter of moral.
Bishop, even the judges themselves, they said it. They reminded the INEC and the other.
That's what.
Time without number, they keep telling them that no, we're not doing this today. We're not doing these technicalities again every time.
No. I mean,
they keep reminding them, yeah.
No. I mean, I don't know how that will suffice. That will hold us up. But I just want to say, I mean, so that we can move, that honestly speaking, whichever the ladies' evidence, or what do you call it, is already tainted. She can give an evidence as an ordinary person, interested in what she saw, what she participated in, what happened, but not to come out because there's nothing that she's bringing that's expert. Even if she's bringing something valuable, but the fact that her what do you call it now has been tainted, and she is biased, you can come as a witness. But if you are saying you are an expert, you are being supposed, you are being brought in. You are giving an expert opinion, irrespective of where the pendulum is swinging. But in her case, she is already an interested party. So if the defense counsel,
an interested party now,
she is because she is a Labour Party adherent. She's a Labour Party carry member. She's a Labour Party candidate.
No. Expert interest. I mean. How do you call it? Expert.
Her partisanship had already destroyed her expert interest.
Had destroyed her. Forget that.
Her partisanship had already destroyed her. There's nothing you can say about that.
To make that case, but as far as I know, there's
no
law that bars. There's no law that bars somebody from being an expert.
Okay, now we are talking in our forum like this now. in our
It's not
in this
barring.
forum.
Sorry, Bishop. What Ogbeni and Bishop is explaining to you is that for reasons of her being a card-carrying member of Labour Party, she's already compromised. Because what she wants is for Labour Party to get a result out of that proceedings. And she's going to lean her expertise to achieve that. So she's no longer speaking as an expert. She's speaking as an active combatant in the faith.
Well,
Exactly.
you can make that submission.
No, hold on. Does that logic not hold for you? Does that not stand?
You just heard Ogbeni just said that there's no logic in law. Is that what he said now? He said there's no logic. Law does not. The law sometimes defies logic. So don't play that logic with me now. Don't play that logic.
Look at that.
I said no common sense. No logic.
Common sense means another word.
Maybe you should have been a lawyer. You certainly have the mindset.
Sometimes even in court, logic does not even make sense in court. Sometimes it's all about what the letter of the law says, and it's so-called technicalities that you people always do in court. That's what usually what rules at the end of the day.
You know, they say the law is an ass. That's why they say the law is an ass.
So when you see, I understand what you and Bishop said, the angle you guys are coming from. Everybody will do that, even though it's me. If I'm cross-examined, I want to like discredit. But you see, we just have to see how this court, because I know there's a lot of ridiculousness to this thing, which I know what you guys are trying to point out, and I know one man does that a lot, trying to point out that the obedient are just so ridiculous. I mean, it looks like they are ridiculous. But like you said, sometimes...
Well, they are ridiculous. What do you mean it looks like? Are they not the most ridiculous?
Sometimes the most absurd, sometimes might win a case in court. As long as the court, you can go by so-called technicalities and other things to prove the case. They'll go by that burden of evidence that you can, that's evidence that you can provide. So, in conclusion... Go on.
Ogbeni, let me ask you a question. Is there a mechanism for revoking somebody's SAN?
Well, they've done it before, but not based on the case you are handling. No. But if you misbehave, if you are not fit to practice, you involve in misconduct. For instance, Andoka, whom has just found favor in the site of Rufai and Abati recently, and they are bringing in. Andoka, they stripe Andoka of his sonship immediately after that Yaradua thing, when he said Yaradua can rule from anywhere in the world. Immediately Yaradua died, and they pushed them out from the government. The Legal Personal Privilege Committee sat, and they said this man is not fit to be a senior advocate in Nigeria. He couldn't defend the law, and then they strike him off. They just returned his sonship a few years ago. So, yeah, and there are a lot of people like that. KK, Kunle Kalejaye in Ibadan, they strike him off. Supreme Court just returned his seal. So, yeah, they have a way of...
Should we strip Malami too of his sonship?
Yes, that was going to be my first recommendation.
Because he said the national security supersedes the rule of law. Is that what he said once?
I know. And because that's
debatable. In America, even national security does not bow to any. How many times did the law say that they should release people in Guantanamo Bay? If they are a threat to the United States national security, they don't. But that's subjective. So let's delve into that one. But in any country, national security takes precedence. Even though they don't sing it on the rooftop. There are certain things. I'm talking a movie for the second time today. In the best interest of the state, there are many people. There was one that happened in Germany that was in one of the books I read many times. They called, and the German government authority had a way of, they carried out some, they call it extrajudicial something, but they said where the interest of the state was at stake. So when something contests with it now depends on who is defining it. Who defines what is in the interest of the state, But so that's why I say it's a little bit very debatable and very contentious.
So, but then they could strip Ayandoka of his when he said his principal. That is that
was not national security. That was just
it's not national security that your president could be outside and then being controlled by some pop.
That's what we're saying now. He's saying that's illegality now. It's just portraying illegality. Come on. How are you comparing apples with
We can
orange?
compare it. It's comparable because
No, it's not.
It is. It is. But because you don't want to see it that way, because you just want to make the point that okay, national security in the way you talk about it, which I understand is debatable.
Why is what's his name? Why is Julian Assange still in detention till date? Why is Julian Assange still in detention?
Well, we don't. You see, I don't want to comment on certain things. I mean, that I don't have all the facts.
All right, we're debating too sharply.
One man, you asked me that question. I've not answered that question.
Yes,
you have.
Yes, you. Hold on. Let him answer now. Okay, go on.
Let me add to it.
And then after
you. I know. Rational Mind went the way of Malami when you didn't land and you just went straight to Malami for Malami's head.
No, I was there as well. I was with Malami and the legal team of Peter Obi.
So how do you see Malami and you did not see Kenneth Okonkwo and the legal team?
Kenneth is not a son. Is he a son? Kenneth is not a son.
No, not necessarily a son. He's a lawyer.
Yeah, so if he's not a son, we're talking about stripping people of who has son.
Son is just see what people don't understand about sonship is it's a privilege. That's why the group that gives.
Do you know how much people pay to just to get it? Do you know how much some lawyers like yourself pay to get that sonship? You know what some people go through just to get that sonship? You know how some lawyers are really killing themselves. They will go to any length just to get it.
Yeah, you need diligence. You need judgment. You need to.
And then you're talking about it like it's just an ordinary. Well, of course, it's an ordinary thing. Like you're trying. I don't understand.
Is it the equivalent of? Is it the equivalent of a silk in the UK?
Of course, it's the equivalent of what they call King's Counsel. Now it used to be Queen's Counsel. But this is where I'm going. You see, there are a lot of things that can amount to misconduct in Nigeria, but we don't really emphasize on this thing, and that's the problem. There is indiscipline everywhere in Nigeria. When you see Kenneth Okonkwo coming out with his court outfit, and you're coming out to address press, it's a misconduct. You come in, you wear your dress, and you're coming to the TV studio to come and address something that is meant strictly for court. It's a misconduct. When you see Chris Uche and all those guys, Levy and most of them, Obi's team, addressing press, as they are leaving court like this, they will be addressing press and even be sending press to their opposing counsel and to their opposing this thing. Because I watched one, they were even sending press to INEC. Go and ask INEC, why are they objecting? Why are they objecting? Those things are meant to be translated in court. Your right of audience is not before the press, it's in the court. That's the prestige of profession. It's a misconduct on its own. But Nigeria is such a place that if today now you pick one of them and you petition, well, the obedient will start making noise again. So they are like, it's just like when you are living in an apartment and you have some mad people around. There's a way you have to be very, very careful, with the mad people, to manage them. I think that's the way Nigerians are managing the obedient for now, because the kind of sensation they even bring, some things that doesn't even make sense at all. You just pop it out and like.
So Kilo now, what did you just went on the Jongo to range here?
Making you from me. No. You are not obedient now, so why are you reacting? You don't need to agitate.
I'm not obedient. I'm obedient.
So don't agitate for them now.
No, hold on. You cannot start my clan people. I mean my clan people.
Are they your people? You say you are not obedient.
Hold on now. They're my people in some ways. I mean,
they are still your people. Which one do you want to pick? They are your people that are not. Are you obedient or you are not?
I'm obedient. I'm not obedient. I don't go by that.
What's the meaning of obedient? You can.
Yeah. What I mean is, I lean towards. I lean towards obedience, but I don't go by that tag, that name tag. So my point is this: you see, you just talk about the main thing.
No, don't worry, Rational Mind.
You went off now. Oh, look at this guy.
Don't emphasize too much on that.
He went on a TV station when.
All right. Rational Mind. Let's continue to take advantage of Ogbeni's expertise whilst he's here. Ogbeni, so in terms of the presentation, the submission, or the case, however you term it in your circles, of the Labour Party and the PDP, they have now come to a close. So now the next half now is the counter narrative from the INEC and APC space. But from what we have heard, and you said you've monitored it almost on a daily basis,
Yes.
are they dead and buried essentially? Is it time for everybody to just does Tinubu have cause to be worried? Is there any area of concerns?
Okay, now this is the way it works. As it stands now, see, the burden is on the petitioner to prove that he won the election, or that the election is marked with irregularities. The burden is not on defense at all. Tinubu doesn't have any responsibility to prove whether he won that election or not. That is the law. It has always been there. It's not going to change because there is somebody called Saint to be in the movie. No, that has always been there. Now, have they proven their case? That's where you start from. With what I have seen so far, they've dented that case so much that they have not proven anything. Yes, they will tell you INEC frustrated them. Oh, they will tell you we are relying on withholding evidence. Oh, they will tell you, woman, I will, I'm preparing for a lot of things. I'm doing markings and some of that, so I don't really have time. I would try one day to go back to do a forensic analysis of the entire OB case and then return here to come and analyze it properly for you. Do you know Wole Olayinpekun has a question today? He asked that guy that what you have here is encrypted. And the man said yes. And he said, it means that my lord cannot even click this link and see what you have there. And he said yes. Do you know the meaning of that? In law, that's what we call document dumping. It means the document you brought to court is not even accessible for my lord. When you brought encrypted document to court, if you like, write password on it. It's a dump document. No court will rely on that document. And that's, by the way, it's just one of the things that are just occurring to me now on how they've dented. So one now, they've been able to dent their petition. Don't forget I said there's a background noise.
Oh, let me say who that is. Whoever is everybody mute apart from Ogbeni. Carry on.
Okay, so like I told you, they have the burden, the sole 100% burden to prove, right? Although some people have been clamoring, I'm also one of those clamoring that one, INEC, I don't think INEC should I don't think our law, I think our law should be amended to remove INEC for being a party to election petition. I think INEC should be removed. INEC should be an unbiased umpire somewhere that everybody will just go to get documents and come to court to prove a case. Because INEC can practically frustrate your case as a petitioner. Yes, if they don't like your face. But don't forget that not only in Tinubu's case, in Abia, they are defending Alex Oti as we speak now in the election petition. In Adamawa, the same INEC is defending Fitiri of PDP. So don't think it's just Ashwaju case alone. No. The primary duty of INEC, as far as our election petition regime is concerned now, is that they must defend whatever they have declared. And that's what you see Abi Mahmood doing in court, is to defend what they have declared. That's his work. So, but here's where I'm going. Now, they've been able to dent their case because they have 100% burden to prove. They've dented their case now. Now, how can they reestablish their case now back? How can they build their case back? It depends on the quality of witnesses that the Tinubu, Shetima, and APC and INEC will be bringing. Okay? So it's now a matter of strategy for the defense team. If this defense team may return and says, look, guys, we're not going to call all our witnesses so that they won't use our case, because you don't know all these witnesses. Sometimes you bring some witnesses that are not too smart and there's no limit to the question they can ask. So they may ask some questions that will reestablish their case. So the strategy may be, let's bring the best of our witnesses and close it there. Don't allow these guys to rebuild their case through our witnesses. Because the practice is this: I can build my case through your witness or through my own witness. as long as it's coming from one of the witnesses, the testimony. In fact, if it's coming from an adverse witness or party, in fact, it's the best you can ever have. So let's wait for the quality of witnesses that the Tinubu guys will be bringing. And let me tell you what are my expectations. One, I'm expecting INEC to bring its own IT experts. Don't forget that INEC is they've been able to establish through the OB expert that the only person that can testify as to what really happened to that server that day is either the person is straight from Amazon or the person is straight from INEC. No any other person. And in all the witnesses that have come now, none is from Amazon because they confess themselves that they are not representing Amazon. So the point is, if you are not representing
why is INEC not allowing them to subpoena their
I can't hear you, rational mind.
Can you hear me? I said, why is INEC refusing them from subpoenaing their the IT staffs?
From subpoenaing INEC IT staff?
Yeah, to come and testify.
I thought somebody came from INEC that testified now.
So what did he say? What did he say?
Witness number 8. See the problem with, let me tell you why it's not even advisable. I don't even know what advice would be to go and be. No, I think it was Atiku that brought somebody from INEC. See, it's not advisable. Is it Atiku?
But I'm not too sure. I think Atiku did. I think he brought somebody.
I think it's Atiku.
Atiku or Labour. I don't know. One of them did. Yeah.
Rational mind, it's not advisable. I don't know. You know, they are senior advocate. They will tell you they know more than us. So we are small boys beside them. But let me tell you, if I'm handling that case, it's not advisable. I won't do that. Because if you are bringing somebody from INEC, I think, it was Atiku now. He brought not even INEC, an ad hoc staff. They brought one ad hoc staff today. You know, they brought one ad hoc staff. But let me tell you why it's not advisable. If I bring somebody from INEC, that person will want to protect his job. If he mess up, he will get sacked letter the next day. And Obi is Mr. No Shishi. He's not going to employ the guy. He's Mr. No they give Chichi. So if I'm coming from INEC and I'm already building my career in INEC, I know that one day I will become director of IT in INEC. And I know that if I can testify well for INEC to protect my employer, in fact, it's a kudos for me. In fact, presidency may even invite me the next day to come and join them in Aso Villa. There's no way I will tell you during your meeting that, okay, don't worry, I will testify well. When I enter that box, you are in trouble. I won't mind that, you called me, but you are in trouble. I will start agreeing with whatever they are telling me. Because you bring somebody from INEC, and the INEC lawyer from the other hand is cross-examining the person. That's what they call friendly cross-examination now. I'll just be conceding. So I'll be destroying your case. That's why father he brought me to court. So it's not advisable in any case. But to answer a woman question summarily is that I think the Tinubu's guys have been able to dent Obi's case and Atiku's case at least down to 65% success from
your imagination now.
Yes, for my own, I won't say imagination, for my own analysis, based on my training as a lawyer and my experience and practice as a lawyer. Now, 65% I see here, but I will tell you they can rebuild their case back to 100% depending on the quality of witnesses and evidence that the Tinubu guys are.
Let me ask you this. So rather than the Tinubu guys and INEC presenting anything, if they feel there's sufficient enough from the OB Atiku presentation, could they not just go straight to closing remarks and say, okay, let's just bring it to an end. Let's go to closing remarks.
It's going to cause a lot of issues. If it's a local government election, you can do that. But in a federal election like this, no. They will still try to put up their evidence because and if it's me also, I won't do that. I won't take that risk of resting my case on their case. I won't take that risk. I will ensure that I nail it. You know the way they nail coffin. That's the strategy in law. There's an adage in Yoruba. I can't remember now that pata pata lan shaking can't remember. you know, meaning that you nail it completely. So if you have the arsenal, you have the arrow to nail. Why do you have to say you rest your case and you just go home? No, you call your witnesses also to nail it completely. There are a lot of loopholes, you know, that the OB case have opened. So what they need to do is to call their own witnesses to come and nail, and then you bottle it up. So nobody can tell you that you didn't go. You go to decide. Log it. Let me give you an instance. Now, as it stands now, they brought somebody. They've not brought anybody at all from Mow'S, but they keep insisting that there was no glitches. That they keep insisting. But so many of them agreed that there's a possibility. But one of them today said the possibility of glitches happening is very slim. That's what he said. Now, that means they have opened a little space. Don't forget their case has been no glitches. But as it stands now, one of their witnesses have opened that thing small, that there may be, but that is very slim. You know?
No, they base that on what this guy said. When he said that, is it the information minister or somebody was saying that, the server has been attacked several times. And he asked him and he said yes. Or were you aware of the minister of information or whatever saying that? Yeah, he said yes. And that was all he said. And I think he also asked, is there any possibility of it being hacked or being, he said yes, possibility. But then I think he was trying to say something, and then whoever was examining him had to cut him off. So I'm not asking you that. And then LP was saying, no, my lord, he needs to answer that question. Saying, no, that's all for now. I'm not asking him. I just want to ask him what I want to ask him. You see, the style of Olamide and the rest of them, the way they were just shouting in court, and I mean, based on what I heard, and I didn't hear this from OB media. I also learned from other media. Even is it the Symphony? Because Symphony, I know Symphony is neither here or there. I think it's mostly PDP or maybe Labour sometimes. So they said he keep cutting me off. I mean, this guy was sounding like combative.
That's it. That's how.
I know that's how they do, but asking questions. Let them answer.
Hold on. Let Mohammed come in and then you pick it up. Mohammed, are you frozen? Mohammed? No, I think it's frozen. Mohammed? All right, carry on, Ogbeni.
Well, you see, that's how consumption is. It's a war. It's a war. And every lawyer has his own strategy. Some lawyers are very combative. And that's their own strategies to get their own, and it depends on the witness you're cross-examining. Somebody like me, I won't get combative. If I see a very intelligent witness, I try to make you very relaxed so that you don't know where I'm going. So I'm not combative. But when I see that you are very intelligent, the more I'm combative, the more you step up your intelligence. And you are very aggressive, auto-intelligently. Then I won't be able to achieve whatever I want to achieve. So different style for different witness and different style for different lawyers. But that's, if you are used to the court terrain, you understand this is what they do. You don't allow your witness, you close every question you ask your witness. In fact, there is a cliche, there is a saying in law practice that you don't ask questions that you don't even know the answer. Because it will open a floodgate. You must ask questions that you know the answer you are coming to get from the witness. And that's why you see any lawyer that you see asking you how is, what is, where is, doesn't know what he's doing. And mind you, when you see lawyer outside there are few ones that have actually gained experience of trial proper. Many lawyers end most time at maybe preliminary objection, fight this and that. Many lawyers don't even put witness in the box and cross-examine witness and go through the rigors of trial. Not too many lawyers participate in all those things. So, but when you see those ones that are seen advocate and that is their expertise, they understand what they want to achieve. So when you see them asking questions, oh, what is this? And you are going in another direction, they know you want to open their case. They won't allow you to go. And the other part,
can I ask you a question real quick? I think one man, Ola asked that question in his super chat. Now, I think we touched on it a little bit. I don't know if you are aware. Now, my question to you is this, because I know we're all political commentators. Some of us accidental, and there's this word you use here every time. Is it accidental? You call them accidental. What is it, woman? You want to say something?
Emergency analyst.
No, I wanted to say I wanted to bring Mohammed in, but his system is still his system is still trying to connect. But carry on.
All right. So now you used to say accidental. I mean, emergency. Maybe you are one of them too, because maybe you are one of them too. So my question is this: you've been hearing about the certificate that Tinubu submitted to INEC. Yep. Some people will say, like people like Kulata here will say that, oh, that's this guy's Pinterest by David Udain. But we've seen it in other platforms. Now, the logo on it, like Ola was asking, the logo on the one that was submitted to INEC is different from the actual logo that was issued by Chicago State University. So with these discrepancies, because all the things you've been talking about ever since, I know where you lean. You are Tinubu, and I don't expect you to really criticize it much. So, what is your take on that? Excuse me. Do you think that's a problem because you're submitting a certificate that is not issued by the school, and you're representing it as the one that is issued by the school?
My take.
Quick interjection, if you don't mind. I was going to say sometimes schools, especially in the States, they change their mascot or their logos.
Come on.
No, I'm not making it up. I mean,
come on.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you my take on that. You see, that's why you see them reserving their objection to final address, and I've explained the reason for you why they do that here. That certificate will not enter anywhere. Do you know why? Because it goes to relevancy. That certificate is very relevant. None of the parties before the court is raising issue of certificate in all their petition. Go and read all their petition. I posted it here before. And tell me there's a paragraph.
It was admitted now. Wait, what are you talking about, dude?
Which paragraph?
They are hold on. I understand, but most petition, of them did not.
Challenging certificate.
I agree with you. I don't think even people were saying it too.
If you can't find it, it goes to know you. Why do I need to be debating that? I don't need to be. We are giving to frivolity here.
But why would the court admit it?
The court has not admitted this. They reserve objection to final address. I just told you here now. Every document that they are brought to court.
What are Nigerian media telling us then? Are we to go by? See,
hold on, rational mind. Let Mohammed put a position to Ogbeni. Mohammed.
Hello. Yeah, Oman, how are you?
I'm good. Good to have you.
Yeah, good to have you too. Sorry, I'm at the airport, so the network might not be the best. So if I can just let me know.
All right. Where are you flying to?
Well, to Venice. So.
Oh, good. Stop by London. We go for drinks. But don't worry. It can be orange juice. It doesn't have to be alcohol. But
Sure.
I suspect you came in for Ogbeni's submission. So let's hear from you.
Well, actually, I was just when I logged in, you were talking about 2027 and who will be candidate and who can challenge Tinubu. Then I lost my connection. Now I rejoined and I heard you talking about petition or B and everything. So exactly what I joined really for the 2027 permutations. What I heard that you were talking about Saraki as well. Am I audible?
We can hear you. Go on. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can make you out. Carry on.
Yeah. So, what was the position that you guys were taking? Like, you thought Saraki would challenge Tinubu, or what was it before
No. It was actually Kulata that brought up that name, and then I jumped on it as well because we were saying that for Tinubu to be defeated, it has to be somebody from the north, and then we were looking at the PDP to see who was available. So we know that Tambuwal, he doesn't stand a chance. We know that Bahla Mohammed, he's too extreme in some of his views. And then somebody like Saraki, he is both a northerner and a Yoruba man at the same time. So he can cut through those two spaces. So the debate then was that Saraki is probably the best person to give Tinubu a good run in 2027.
So my view on this is that I think the best person would be Konkoso. I think he's the person that really can challenge Tinubu, I think Tinubu knows that. That's why he's pulling this guy close to him. I honestly don't think Saraki can challenge Tinubu because I get the point that he straddles like the Yoruba line and the Northern line. But if we learn anything from the past elections, these middle grounds, they never work, you know? So if it's Yoruba, why shouldn't we just go for Tinubu? If it is a Northerner, why shouldn't we just go for the Northern? Like this kind of balancing thing like Atiku tried to do, it usually doesn't work with electorate. We're not that, I don't know. We tend to think that we as human beings and as voters, we tend to think we're very rational, but actually we're not. Like when we come to vote, like sentiments is the most important thing that people consider, and that is not just in Nigeria, everywhere. Like so in the UK or let's say US, it's very easy to predict how somebody will vote by just asking him one question. Let's say his view on abortion, or if he goes to church on Sunday, 90% of the time he will vote Republican. Okay, so what I think is Saraki, I don't think he can really put up a good challenge to Tinubu. But the bigger thing is Tinubu, for him, I think he has to perform. If he doesn't perform, I think I would say his path to victory was quite fragile in this last election. I was telling somebody, so just look at the election result as it is now. And let's say he just neglected 2 states, let's say in the north, for example. Let's say just Katsina. If they voted for Atiku the way they voted for Buhari, now I think Tinubu gave Atiku like 1.7 million, but and they voted for Buhari like in 2019 and I think Buhari won by over 1.2 million. So but in this 2023, that 1.2 million, Tinubu and Atiku split it 50-50 basically. Just imagine this 600,000 of Tinubu going to Atiku. The difference between them will be 1.2 million votes will be cancelled out of the difference. This is just one state. So this goes to show how, and then the difference between Tinubu and Atiku will just be 500,000. You see? So this is just one state. So what I think Tinubu has to do to win, I think he has the good chance of winning. The names that you mentioned, I don't think any of them can challenge. Bala Mohammed, well, extreme views, I think that's not his biggest issue. His biggest issue is I think he's not really a household name in the north. Not many people will really, it's not a household name like Konkoso. So that's his main issue actually. Saraki too will suffer from that. And if it is between Bala Mohammed and Saraki, it's really hard to choose, but I don't think any of them are a threat. The real threat is Konkoso. Even in this election, most Northerners, majority, like overwhelming majority, if you really ask them, their choice is Konkoso. But out of pragmatic considerations, they went for Tinubu or to Atiku. But and that's why now I'm beginning to think that this Konkoso's angle, I think Tinubu
are you from Mohammed? Are you from Kano?
No,
you are from
I
Kano.
am from Maiduguri. I'm from Maiduguri.
All right. I thought you were doing homeboy.
No. I schooled in Kano while Konkoso was governor. So
look at
6 years I was in Kano.
All right. So now we
honestly,
know.
Yeah, but it's not that. Honestly, like even me, I think like Konkoso did fantastically well when he was governor. Like I said, I schooled in Kano. So just like common people that I know, people of poor, humble backgrounds, they finished school with good grades, almost certain to get a scholarship abroad. People were just envious of Kano people at that time. I can name like 10 people off the top of my head just right now. So Konkoso did people building. I think the best way to win election in Nigeria is to build people. That is what made Tinubu president. You see, people tend to think that it's the Muslim or something, but I think the narrative of Tinubu as somebody who builds people, I think this is what sold him the most against Atiku in the north.
Mohammed, can you hear me? Let me say this
Sure.
and then ask you a question. Let me say this and then I'll ask you a question. So the first thing I'm going to say is a statement, and then the next one is a question. You see, Kwakwanso is not really as potent as you think, because he has that huge popularity in the north, but he doesn't have the name recognition in the south. It's only this electoral cycle that we began to look at him. He's just a man from the north as far as the south is concerned, but Saraki, he cuts across. Atiku cut across as well, so he doesn't have that cut across thing. So that's what I wanted to say. But my question really, in that conversation, what we were saying was that if PDP is intent on wresting power from Tinubu in 2027, they have to present a northerner, because if they present a southerner, Tinubu will just massacre him, whether he performs or not. Or if they present a southerner, Tinubu will massacre him. So the only chance of wresting power from Tinubu in 2027 is to present a northerner. Do you agree with that?
Yes, completely. I do agree with both of your two submissions. On the latter one, like regarding Tinubu. So that's why I said like Saraki. If you feel Saraki, so let's say you're a Yoruba person from the south, like would you rather go for Saraki or for Tinubu? That's my question. That's why I said this balancing act.
I like Saraki, but carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know Saraki much, but for Northerners, I think they will be. I don't think they will go for Tinubu. I can say confidently that they will go for Tinubu. That is one. And for Yoruba people, I know you, as you said, personally you prefer Saraki, but for the average Yoruba person, I don't think that Saraki will be chosen over Tinubu. That's just my view. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But like you said, but what you said, the second part of what you said is also correct. I think it's very correct that if PDP feels any southerner, Tinubu will trash that person without a doubt. You know, I think, and also just to even connect it to this past election, once I said that both PDP and APC made the correct decisions in the way that they chose their candidates. You know, the convention, of course, in Nigeria is a Muslim northerner, then Christian southerner, or Christian southerner, and Muslim northerner. That's how it has always been. But this election challenged both premises in that the strongest and the most potent candidate of PDP is without doubt Atiku. So if they said they were going to zone it to south or specifically to southeast, Tinubu will trash that person like without a doubt. Like it's not even going to be close. I'm talking about like with 6-7 million that kind. And conversely, if APC were to make the mistake of fielding any other candidate against Atiku other than Tinubu, they will lose this election like with a wide margin. So they both made the correct decisions, like, you know, in the way that they did their things. But it's just that the personal mistakes that Atiku made, I think he's the biggest, like he botched this election a lot because everything was there for him to win.
Do you think, Mohammed?
Yeah.
Mohammed.
Yeah.
Do you think Atiku's ego? Do you think his ego cost him this election?
Yeah, his ego cost him. Well, his ego is a huge part of it. I would say maybe 50% of that, but more to the real reason why he didn't, because like this election is always like the South is almost settled with Peter Obi in Southeast completely locked in. Most people thought he will do that and he will do extremely well. I think in the South, most people thought he will do that and he did. And Southwest, Tinubu will lock it in. Really, it's in the North that the election will be lost and won. So what Atiku was doing was, like part of it is his ego, was that he was taking decisions as if like he just, you know, he was just guarantees the presidency. The way that he chose his vice president, for example, leaving Wike for this Okowa. Yes, even me, if I were Like if I knew I would be president, I would prefer Okowa than Wike. But for electoral value, I don't think you can compare the two. And this election has shown that perfectly. Okay, so he was taking decisions as if he was guaranteed the presidency. That's one. But then, like his ego that you said also played a role. For example, in not putting much of a fight. Obi, he said that Obi left before telling him and this and that. But that's understandable. But Konkoso's leaving, I think, partly is due to Atiku's ego, and then the G5 also, of course, that's an ego issue, you know. But honestly, this G5 thing, I have a view that maybe some people will not agree with. I don't think the G5 played as much of a role as Konkoso and Obi did. You know, the G5. I mean, just take for example Benue. This guy, he doesn't pay salaries. You know, almost like when the end of the month, you know, approaches, you come and say the Fulanis. You know, these kind of things, you can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it thrice, but after some time, the people will just figure you out, and then they will just turn against you. And that is what happened. They trashed him in senatorial seat, he lost. Governorship, he lost. Presidential, he lost. You know, who would have thought that Tinubu will win in Benue State of all places? I mean, this is something like an enemy territory. So this guy, I don't think he changed much for Tinubu. Even if he was, even if he was supporting Atiku, I don't think that will change anything. So, but instead of G5, I would say Wike played a role, but if you just look at the numbers in Rivers, you know, it's not that much of a role, but just look at Konkoso. This 1 million from Konkoso, you can almost be certain that they would have gone to Atiku if he was there. That's why this guy, what is the name, Abdulmumin Jibril or something, is staunch Tinubu supporter. All of a sudden, I saw that he went to NMPP. I think he lost his seat in the primaries or something in the APC. So he went to NMPP, but he still kept close ties to Tinubu. And now after this presidency, he's the one that is, after Tinubu won, he's the one that is brokering all these meetings. So it's almost as if it's a plan for Konkoso to take as many votes as possible from Atiku. So, see, that's why I think this Tinubu guy, my real worry now is, I think this guy has the brains and he has the wherewithal to really make Nigeria a one-party country. That's my real worry, because all the threats, he knows where they are. He understands every nook and cranny of this country much more than all of these others. You know, he understands the country very well, and especially he understands.
Mohammed, let me ask you a question. In fact, two questions really. The first question is: Do you think that Kwakwanso hates Atiku? Because I think he does. And then the second question is: Do you think Tinubu is more a politician? Where do you think his strength is, as a politician or as an administrator?
Well, I think the two are linked. You know, politics is the art of dealing with people, and administration partly also you have to deal with people. So I think these two things are not, like, you know, mutually exclusive. But I think he is the master politician of Nigeria. Like, is this after this election that I started to appreciate what this guy is doing. Now I just wait for his decisions, almost like an art. Like I just, almost every decision that he has taken, I think if you think about it, like, he couldn't have done anything else. So that's why the reason why I said that, you know, he might make Nigeria a one-party state is look at the way that he's trying to lock in the South. Like, if he like make deep inroads in the South, like, who can then challenge him? That's my question really. Who can challenge him? So I just remember your first question about Konkoso, when I said that he's the real challenge. Yeah, Konkoso is only a challenge if he has a popular, strong Southern candidate. You know, like on his own, I know that of course he doesn't have this, you know, spread across, you know, the country like Tinubu does. Okay, but you are right. He has to have a very strong, popular Southern candidate. Otherwise, like, even he will
not like the miracle worker pastor that he went on. That was a bit of a joke, wasn't it? That ridiculous pastor that he went on.
Well, it's only ridiculous. It's only ridiculous if he was after winning the presidency, which he was not, he knows full well Konkoso is not like. If I think people should understand this about Konkoso. He knows full well that he's not going to. He's not like Obi. I think Obi really thought that he would win. In the beginning, I thought he was also just, doing this kind of politics like Konkoso. But Obi and most of his followers, I'm beginning to realize they really believe that he could win this election. But that's not the case for Konkoso. He wanted to make this thing about himself. So this, you take a pastor that never appears on television. I think you have a vice president. But if you think about NMPP, everybody talks about him. Like at least Peter Obi, people say dirty and all this. Of course Shatima and Oko. But every NMPP did that candidacy is 100% about Konkoso. I think that's what he was after. He wanted to show his value.
Hey, one quick question for Mohammed, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Mohammed, do you think Konkoso believed in a Southern presidency, even though he ran for presidency?
Well, I don't know how to answer that, but okay, I will say this. He knew full well that his candidacy will do heavy damage to Atiku's chances. He knew that very, very well. So does that answer your question? As for whether or not he believes in Southern presidency, I cannot answer that, but I know that he knows that almost all his votes would have gone for Atiku, And if you look about 1.4, 1.3, okay.
Well, that is true. That's somewhat indirect because, But yeah, because Konkoso looks like a fair person, quite frankly. It looks like somebody that believes in fairness. Atiku, on the other hand, not at all. So even though it looked like the Northerners were still trying to struggle for power after 8 years of Buhari, to me it was shocking that Atiku was ran in the first place. So Konkoso, him running it, I thought was just some kind of a gimmick somewhat, even though it was a strong candidate in the North.
Well, I have something to say about that. So you see this thing about game of politics. It's not a realm where, the argument about fairness and equity and this, it never really works. Like as long as it doesn't go, like it doesn't favor those people who say that, they will change it immediately. Like you saw it with Atiku, like the PDP, they knew full well that throwing the ticket open will mean that Atiku will get the ticket. But they did that because if they don't feel Atiku, you're not going to get, like if they, let's say, zone it to South or Southeast, you're not going to get a Southeast president, you're going to get an APC president for certain, okay? So at least you have to get the power first before you can think of, how the fairness and everything will come. So that's why, like, so Atiku, the fairness argument I understand, but if Atiku doesn't run, it doesn't mean that there's going to be any other person that would have filled it will not have, will not have been a match for Tinubu. So fairness, I understand. And for Konkoso, yeah, he's kind of a fair person. Like if you think about it, like even during the Abiola 1993 election, Bashir Tofa and, in Kano, the house, Bashir Tofa's house and Konkoso's house is just a stone's throw away in Gandung Albasa. I usually, one of my best friends, his house and Konkoso's house are back to back. So I always go there every time I'm in Kano. So I know that place very well. So even in that Gandung Albasa, that polling unit, Bashir Tofa lost to Abiola due to efforts of people like Konkoso and everything. And in the 2011 election, I was in Kano, like I said, people tend to forget. Jonathan got 25%, I think, in Kano, that election against Buhari, when even Shekarau did not get, because of efforts of people like Konkoso, and that after that election, all their houses were burnt down and this and that. One of my friends, his father was a very, associate of Konkoso. I went to their house. Yeah.
Sorry, Mohammed, sorry to interrupt. I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Do you consider the regions in Nigeria, because Buhari is from Northwest, and let's say in the next 4 or 8 years, we are going to also, Kwankwanso is also from Northwest. How do you feel the other parts of the Northern, the Northeast, and the North Central will feel about this? And do you think it will sell? that within the split of it, every president that will come from the north for the last 16, maybe 8 to 12 years is always from the northwest. How do you feel the other part of the region will feel? How would they handle it?
All right. All right.
So you have
Respond
to understand. I will just Okay,
hold
okay.
on,
I will
Mohammed.
just respond to that.
Yeah, hold on. Respond to that, and then stay where you are until you stay with us until you board your flight. So after you respond to that, let's go back to Ogbeni to carry on his thoughts. Because he's just is in the middle of marking exam papers. He only came in to give us but about to you, Mohammed.
Yeah. So this is an interesting question. I think that's what where some people's understanding of the North is kind of different. So I think you should not really, if you want to understand how the northern space works, you should not assume what happening in South is what is happening in the North. So in the North, really, like this Northeast, Northwest, it's not much of a factor. If you look at the voting pattern of the North, like it's almost the same, Northeast, Northwest. It's not as stark a difference as it is in the South, where you have Yoruba West and Igbo East. It's not like that in the North. That is one. I am 100% Kanuri, my father, mother, everything. But if you give me a choice between Kashim Shettima and Konkoso, I will take Konkoso any day, anytime. So it's not, this Northeast, Northwest thing is not really much of a factor. People don't really, it's not something that is on people's minds, really. Only politicians use that to get positions. But other than that, on the level of the people, it's not going to be a problem. I can tell you that even Maiduguri now, if you fill them Kashim Shettima and Konkoso, I think they will choose Kashim Shettima. Even in this election, in Maiduguri, inside the city, Kashim Shettima lost actually. Like it's really in the local governments and everything that the Kashim again, like Kashim is not that much of a popular person in Maiduguri. People should know this about this guy. He's not that much of a popular person. He's not like Zulum or Ali Sharif or something. So I don't think it's much of a factor there. Maybe the North Central, maybe even North Central is maybe they have a little bit of that, but it's not even as big as that. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. I hope I answered your question.
All right, I've got a question for you as well, but let's go back to Ogbeni, who was giving us the summary of because as you know, Mohammed, the case for Atiku and Peter Obi, their presentation came to an end in court today. So they've concluded their submissions, and Ogbeni now, a senior lawyer, he's now giving us an interpretation of how we should be digesting it. So back to you, Ogbeni. But stay there with us, Mohammed. We will come back to you in a moment. Ogbeni.
Oh, thank you, Woma. Well, it's just to give you maybe something like a breakdown of the timeline for the election petition tribunal, so that our viewers or our listeners would also understand. So now that they're closing the petitioners trial or hearing, that's their own part for now. So by
sorry, Ogbeni. Mohammed, mute yourself for a moment. I can't mute you from here. Carry on, Ogbeni.
So by 24th, that's by 24th of June to 29th of June, right? INEC will be expected to open their own case and bring their witnesses. Usually, INEC don't really have much. They don't really call witnesses. Most times, they only call one or two experts to just explain what happened during the election. That's all INEC does most times. So, but between 30th and 30th June to 5th of July, we are expecting Tinubu and Shettima to open their case and close their case by 5th of July. They open 30th June, that's next week Friday. And by 5th of July, they're going to close their case. Then the next day, which is 6th of July, we're expecting APC, that is Prince Elo Fagbemi-san, to open his own case for his clients and then close his case by 10th of July. So by that 10th of July, we're expecting close of evidence. So from there, you'll be expecting them to prepare for final address. So that final address is what Rational Mind is waiting eagerly for, about what he called craft. But we've been able to explain to him that it's not craft now, that his understanding of law is what matters. So by 29th of July, Rational Mind, how we won't do you reunion one day, we just feel like, okay, you this boy.
It's okay. Stoop down.
Kawe is okay.
Do you remember stoop down and face the wall?
So by the address by the petitioner, we're expecting it by 29th of July. Then I can't remember that of respondent again, but I think it's about 4th or 5th of August. Then we're expecting reply, and then all of them will now converge. I remember that one. By 5th of August, they will converge and they say goodbye to everyone. Then the court, from 5th of August, the court will announce a date for them to come and take their judgment. So it's just for us to just understand how these timelines work, and what should be expected from these guys. Thank you, Wama.
All right, brilliant. Well presented. But just to add an addendum, I think both the INEC and the Tinubu lawyers, they asked for a moratorium because there's Eid coming, so they want to start their case from the 2nd of July.
Oh, okay, that's fantastic. That means that will push the timetable a bit forward, like a few days forward. Okay.
All right. Any questions for Ogbeni before? No, carry on, Ogbeni. Anybody with a question for Ogbeni?
I reserve my comment. I will provide in the final
in the final analysis.
in the final response.
Just whilst you're still there, Ogbeni, this conversation, I think we lost Mohammed. He did say it was at the airport, so we were at the mercy of his reception. This conversation about who can stop Tinubu in 2027, are you also of that view that for any chance to be had to stop him in 2027, they have to present a strong northerner to oppose him?